I've been watching your work and your clips for like forever. So I'm fairly new at that, and I've been quite nervous about it. I have the feeling of interviewing a rock star. So, but it will go away eventually.
No problem. No problem.
Okay. So let me just open my notes. Yeah. As I stated in my email, I would like to cover first the principles at play, then go a little bit into detail to show people that there is science behind all that,
Indeed.
and that basically they can trust uh, these findings. So first of all, would you be able to tell us in a few words what whole food plant-based nutrition is about and why it's so important about health, environment?
Oh my. Big question, but I'll try
Yeah,
to
yeah.
hold it as succinctly as I can.
Hmm.
It starts with the basic reality of our anatomy. We evolved through the simian line of creatures, and we basically have the same digestive system that our gorilla and bonobo cousins have. And they're up in the trees today eating leaves and fruits. And we have basically the same type of digestive system made to run on whole plant foods, whole plant fiber. And when we do that, we eat lots of grains and beans and fruits and vegetables. This presents our intestine with an ideal mix of various types of fiber that allow the intestine to extract the nutrients using enzymes, etc., but also to push it along and create normal bowel function. We're not carnivorous apes, no matter what the
Yeah.
paleo folks try to convince us. We are plant-eating creatures. And so a whole food plant-based diet really puts an emphasis on whole foods in that the food you should be eating on a daily basis, what appears on your plate, are the foods that you could recognize growing in the garden. An ear of corn,
Yeah.
not corn chips, whole tomatoes, not ketchup, potatoes, not potato chips, etc. Whole foods like they were growing there. So we're
Yeah.
talking about colorful salads and hearty lentil stews and bean chilies and vegetable curries and healthy grains like quinoa and millet and buckwheat and lots of legumes, which are especially rich in protein, beans, peas, chickpeas, lentils, anything that grows in a pod is a legume.
Hmm.
And fruits and vegetables, especially nice fruits for desserts, mangoes, papayas, whatever you have growing in Bulgaria there. And make it in a form of easily to prepare stews and soups, etc. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as I tell my colleagues in America, who complain about not eating their meat, say, listen, we're just talking about at the restaurant ordering the bean chili instead of the beef chili. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
You're already eating these foods.
It's not that
Just
difficult.
yeah, just make them whole food and plant based, and you'll be fine. Your body will know what to do with it.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that almost sadly, Bulgaria has become a rich country in the past 20 years. So people are starting to suffer from diseases of affluence, basically, like everywhere. And
Everywhere.
that was kind of the good side of having communism, if that could
Yes,
be.
in a way, it's a left-handed blessing, as they say. Yes, in a way, some price, but I'm sure you had.
A huge price, but yeah,
Yeah, really. But I'm sure there was less heart attacks and strokes, etc., because the people just weren't
there
eating the
was,
meat
there
and
was.
cheese and sugar and oils that injure
Mm.
the arteries and set people up for these diseases.
Well,
But now they've flooded into your diet like they have in ours, and you're seeing the same diseases we are as well.
I got into plant-based nutrition for the same reasons. I saw a big change in some close people of mine. I'm getting into my 40s now, and feel much better than when I was 25. So yeah, that works. I can testify that it works.
Absolutely. It's certainly happened in my life as well, in my body. Uh, I was working as a resident in anesthesiology. I was going to be an anesthesiologist in Vancouver, and I'm on the cardiovascular anesthesia service dealing with people's hearts and blood vessels. And day after day, I'm putting people to sleep and watching surgeons
Oh
open up
my.
their arteries and pull this yellow fatty material called atherosclerosis out of their artery walls.
Hmm.
And one day I'm watching the surgeon pull a particularly yellow rubbery piece of fatty material out, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, that stuff looks like chicken fat. And the little voice on my shoulder said, there's a good reason why it looks like chicken fat, doctor.
Yeah.
It is chicken fat and cow fat and pig fat and the fat of the animals this man was eating. And there was already medical studies in the literature doing that, and they were saying that. And my father was showing signs of clogged arteries. I clearly have the genes for that disease. And I knew I was
Hmm.
going to be laying on that operating table soon with that striker saw going up my sternum, and I didn't want that. So I changed my diet to a plant-based diet. Within 12 weeks, a 10-kilo spare tire of fat melted off my waist. My high blood pressure came down. My high cholesterol came down. And like you, I felt great waking up in a nice lean body every day.
Yeah, yeah.
And I realized I had a very important key to health, and I didn't want to be an anesthesiologist anymore and put people to sleep all day. I'd rather go back to general practice and help them wake up. So I did, and I've been a nutritionally based general practitioner ever since 1982.
Whoa.
And what you and I both know happens. People who follow a plant-based diet get lean and healthy, and their arteries open up, and the high blood pressure comes down, and the joints stop hurting, and the skin clears up, and the nose stops running, and the asthmatic lungs stop wheezing so much, and the
Hmm.
migraine headaches reduce or go away. And people turn into normal, healthy people who don't need a lot of pills and potions and
I
procedures.
presume
And
it's
that's fine,
much more
yeah.
satisfying now to
Absolutely.
work.
We're not on this planet to suffer and to be sick.
Yeah.
And no, we're here to live our lives and raise our kids and walk out in the sunshine and make it a better world. And a plant-based diet will let you do that.
It has become almost equal in people's mind that getting older and getting sick is the same thing, and doesn't
Oh,
seem to be so.
no, absolutely not. Thank you for saying that. And as a physician, I can tell you that's not normal aging. Normal aging is to hit your 90s and 105s, lean and healthy with open arteries and supple joints and strong muscles, so you can walk the hills with your great grandchildren and enjoy the sunshine and the sunsets. That's what normal
Well,
aging should be. The term is your health span. The
mhm.
lifespan is how many years you live, but how many of those years are really healthy? That's your health span, where you can do what you want to do without pain or disability. And you want your health span to be as close to your total lifespan as you can. You want
Exactly,
every day as you
exactly.
can be active. And it can be, but I had a wise professor in medical school said, people don't get diseases, they earn them. Day after meal, argument after argument, sleepless night after sleepless night, alcoholic drink after cigarette, the day after day of unhappiness. This is how people earn diseases. And it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that way. And as you're implying, the body has this amazing ability to reverse these diseases. The diseases
Mhm.
largely go away, and that's made me the happiest
I've
doctor I know. My patients get healthy. Go ahead.
I've heard so many times that the human body is such an amazing machine, etc. And through the years, being getting first of all, when you're young, you're always fine. You have energy, and then you practice a lot of sports, and it doesn't matter what you do, it goes well. But then you start getting fat, etc. Yeah, and hearing that the body is that amazing machine, I was always wondering. I was like, what the hell? It's if that is amazing, it keeps on breaking, and now I understand why it kept on breaking.
Indeed, these are self-inflicted injuries. But you're right.
Yes.
The body it's nothing short of a miracle. I've been a physician 47 years, and I'm constantly every day I see another amazing thing that our body does. And I've worked in many emergency rooms and urgent care clinics, and people come in with lacerations in their skin. And I'm a good surgeon, and I do a very nice repair of the wound, but I know all I'm doing is putting the edges of the wound together. I don't know how to spin new capillaries out and new fibers of collagen and grow new epithelium. But the body knows how to do that. How does it know? Yeah. And the body always wants to go towards health. The body doesn't want to be inflamed. It doesn't want to be swollen. It doesn't want to be short of breath. And it has these self-correcting mechanisms that if we just stop interfering with them, with sugary and fatty foods and all that stuff, the body will heal itself. I've seen amazing things happen. Arteries open up, and these diseases, diabetes, asthma, many of them get so much better or go away completely. It's a remarkable thing to see the body heal itself. But give it the right food and some rest and some sunshine and some love,
of course,
it does it.
To go a little bit into the details,
Sure.
because as I was saying, sadly the quantity of information available here is quite few. I've spent about 20 years of my life in France, and sadly even in France it's scarce. So I would like to promote it as much as possible, but not being a physician myself, not being a medical doctor, it's almost impossible to have people listening to you. So that's why I'm very grateful to you helping out, because that will give some weight to what I'm trying to convey as a message.